Welcome to Nerdology, where we dive into the science behind consumer behavior, sensory research, and the latest hot topics in behavioral science. Quick insights, expert reviews, and conference highlights, all in bite-sized form. Let's get nerdy. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Nerdology, the podcast where I, Nerdoscientist, dive into behavioral science, neuroscience, and consumer insights, all in under 5 minutes. I'm Michelle Nagella, your friendly neighborhood neuroscientist, and today we're tackling a concept that might sound technical but has profound implications for consumer research, and it's called reverse inference. And if you're in the business of using neuroscience to understand your audience or your consumers, this one's definitely for you because it's a really good thing to look out for. So let's start out with what reverse inference actually is. Imagine you're looking at the brain activity of a person using tools like fMRI or EEG. You notice a certain area, say the amygdala, lighting up. Now, the amygdala is often associated with emotion, for example, fear. So you might be tempted to conclude that the person is maybe feeling afraid. Seems logical, right? But here's the problem. The amygdala doesn't just respond to fear. It's also involved in other emotions like surprise, excitement, attention, and even more than that. In other words, reverse inference is like seeing someone smile and just assuming that they're happy, which we do that with facial coding. So without considering, they might just be politely smiling and they might be uncomfortable. So there are risks of reverse inference. Now you might be thinking, okay, but why does this matter in consumer research? And that's a great question. Reverse inference becomes dangerous when it's used to make sweeping claims about consumer behavior or emotions based on very limited brain data. For example, there was an infamous study that happened in around 2011, and it was called "You Love Your iPhone," literally, and it was published in the New York Times. And in it, it claimed people were literally in love with their iPhones because certain brain regions associated with affection were active. Very dramatic sounding, right? Yes. Was it scientifically accurate? Not so much. And here's why this is risky. First, it creates an overconfidence in so-called objective measures. Neuroscience tools like fMRI or EEG are often seen as more credible than using surveys or focus groups. But if the data is misinterpreted, the resulting insights can be just as flawed or even worse. Also, it enables confirmation bias. Companies eager to hear that their product is loved will inevitably find what they're looking for, whether the data truly supports it or not. And as I always say, it's actually not the fault of the tool. fMRI and EEG and all these tools are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's actually the human that makes the error. And this has real world implications. So what happens when these missteps make it to the boardroom? Misleading marketing messages, costly product decisions, and even eroded consumer trust can happen. Imagine building an entire campaign around a feature that supposedly excites your consumers only to discover it doesn't land in the real world. That's not really great for your ROI or your reputation. So you have to avoid this trap. So how do we avoid the pitfalls of reverse inference? Here are 3 quick tips. Number 1, context is key. Brain regions are multifunctional. Our brain is very small and it packs a lot of activity into small areas. And so all these areas in our brain have to do multiple things. So treat any activity with caution and explore multiple interpretations of any of your results. Number 2, use complementary methods. Don't ever rely on one method to give you all the information. Neuroscience is a very powerful tool, but it works best when it's combined with other techniques. For example, behavioral observation of what people are actually doing, and also just asking people, whether through surveys or interviews or whatever it might be. Number 3, be patient. If you're communicating neuroscience findings to stakeholders, emphasize what the data does not say as much as what it does say. Now, my favorite personal tip is invest in education. A well-informed team is less likely to make this kind of oversimplified assumption that can lead to reverse inference. This is where experts like your friendly neighborhood neuroscientist can help. So some closing thoughts on this. Neuroscience has incredible potential to transform consumer research. offering insights we never really thought was possible. But with great power comes great responsibility. So, by avoiding the trap of reverse inference, we can ensure that these insights are both scientifically valid as well as genuinely actionable. So, thanks for tuning into this episode of Nerdology. If you found this helpful, or if you're curious about how neuroscience can be responsibly integrated into your business strategy, reach out. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning.